now let's start. Before starting, let me introduce about myself, and then we'll start working on understanding what we'll be discussing today and proceed with the discussion. Okay. So first thing, this is Abhishek, as you guys know, and um, yeah, is my screen visible now? Thank you. Okay. Now let me talk about, yeah. So that's what I was talking about. Basically, that is in terms of how are we intelligent? You know how are we intelligent enough in terms of decision making, right? That's what I was talking about. Like how we are intelligent in terms of decision making, recognition, or in terms of communication. In the same way, we want AI to do that. We want a system, a machine, which can make decisions, which can recognize something. Whenever you show something, it can recognize something, which can communicate with people, which can communicate like now how ChatGPT is doing, or how Grok is doing, something like that, right? How it can communicate with people. So that is the idea of the AI system. That is a concept of AI. Now, that is a basic idea of AI. Now, how can we achieve this AI? Is through this architecture, whatever you're seeing here. This is how you can achieve AI, where we have an algorithm. So I'm talking about the broad picture. Okay, I'm talking about the broad picture. So we have the algorithm, and we have the historical data, like because it will learn from the data. So the idea is the algorithm basically will learn from the data. Okay, it could be any kind of data. It could be a simple tabular data. It could be a image or a video, or it could be a text, or it could be audio. It could be any kind of data. The idea is it will learn. The AI system is something which learns from this kind of data, understand the patterns, understand what is inside this data, like how we humans understand the data, right? Whenever you see this image, you identify it's a dog or a cat, right? Based on the way it looks, right? The facial features, the body features. Based on that, you'll identify it as a dog or a cat, right? In the same way, when you read a text, for example, if you read a text saying that, hey, the restaurant was really great. So in this, you see that someone is praising the restaurant, right? You understand the text. So that way the machine want to understand. We want machine to understand the text. In the same way, when you see something, like when you hear something, you'll understand it. So the idea is we want to like AI is all about, we use this historical data, whatever we are having, whatever data is showed, and the algorithm is nothing but a mathematical system. Okay, algorithm is nothing but a mathematical system. So this mathematical system learns from this historical data, and that results you in something called as an AI model. Okay, AI model, and whatever Chat GPT, Claude models, and whatever model you are seeing is that's how it is getting trained. I'm just telling in a high level manner, right? Now, this is the broad picture of AI, right? Now, in AI is a very, a broad branch which has lot of sub branches. Okay, so now when you say about AI is having these are the few branches in AI. I can say like machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI. So as I said already in the previous talk, that is to know about generative AI, it is not compulsory that you need to know machine learning and deep learning. As I said already, I'll tell how. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, ideally, this is the core branches of AI, that is machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, and also the agentic AI, which is coming up. Okay. Now, generally, guys, in the market, okay, in the current market, whatever you're seeing right now, let me do one thing. Let me get the pen for you. Yeah, just a second, guys. Okay. Hmm. I guess we don't have this pen. Okay, fine. Okay. So the point is, if you see in the machine learning, if you consider this machine learning or deep learning models, these kind of AI system, this is basically termed as traditional AI. Okay. This ML or DL, whatever your which you might heard already, machine learning or deep learning. It is generally called as now traditional AI. Okay, traditional AI. And this generative AI is different from the traditional AI. This generative AI, whatever we will be learning right now, is different from the traditional AI. How it is different from the traditional AI, I'll explain you once. We'll first try to understand that, and then we'll try to go deep dive into the generative AI. Now, in the traditional AI, that is the machine learning or deep learning, if you see the traditional AI system, ML or DL, what happens is whenever you have an historical data, it will learn from the historical data. That is what AI is all about, right? It will learn from the historical data and it will build either ML model or the DL model, right? It will build the either ML model or DL model. And the main goal of this is to do the prediction. The main goal of the traditional AI, ML or DL model is to do the prediction. The task is to do the prediction. When you say prediction, what do I mean by that? For example, you know, imagine you want to uh, like given this image, you want the AI to tell what is in this image. Okay, what is in this image? A cat and a dog. That is a prediction. Okay. Or for example, given this tabular data, you want AI to predict the next upcoming sales of the company. What would be the upcoming sales of the company? Imagine you're giving a tabular data of sales of the company. Imagine a sales of the company, and you want to predict the upcoming sales of the company, right? So that is basically the traditional AI where you are just doing the prediction. Means given the historical data, it will understand the historical patterns. Basically, the idea is it will understand the historical patterns, and it will basically what it does is it will try to predict the future. What will happen in future? Okay, like maybe sales prediction, or maybe for example, given your health information, maybe predicting your whether you get diabetes or not. Okay, diabetes prediction or cancer prediction. So these all are part of the ML and DL use cases. Okay, where you are trying to predict something, but the generative AI is something different here. Okay, that is where it is different from the traditional AI. In generative AI, what happens is again you'll be having the algorithm itself, but the algorithms are slightly different. So they are like transformers and GANs. These are the traditional algorithms here. And the idea of this Gen AI model is to not just predict like a generative AI model. It has to, sorry, not just predict like ML or DL. It is like generating content. What do I mean by generating content? Right. So that again, the content can be anything. Okay. The content can be anything. The content can be maybe a text or an image or audio or a video. So the idea, as the name says, if you see generative means generating something, and AI artificially, like intelligently generate something, right? So the idea of generative AI models is imagine you're having a model here, okay, and you feed some kind of input to this particular model, okay, input to this particular model. The traditional models, whatever you have seen, that is AI, ML or DL models, will ideally do some predictions. But this particular Gen AI based model, what it does is it will try to generate content. It will basically generate content, right? So that is what ChatGPT does, right? When you provide some kind of input, what it does, it will give you some content, right? It will give you some text. Or maybe we have, for example, Gemini's Nano Banana model, right? What it does, it will give us image. Or we have OpenAI's Sora or Veo models. What it does, it will basically Gemini's Veo model. What it does, it will generate as a video. We have some music generator app, so audio. So like that, these models are specifically for generating the content. Okay, given an input, given an image, given a prompt, basically we can also call it as prompt, which is the term, technical term. When you give this prompt, the idea of these generative AI models are to generate content. So that is the main difference between a generative AI models and the traditional AI models, right? If you see now, Now let's understand what is the use of this generative AI models? What exactly we can do with this? But before that, any questions, anyone? Are we clear till now? Are we clear? Just type this in the chat if you are clear till now. Perfect. Others. Okay, great. So now that we know what is the main difference between generative AI and this what we say, the ML or DL models, the traditional models. Ultimately, I want to say that these generative AI models are like advancement of deep learning models. Okay. So if you see this, these we are having models, we have something like transformers and GANs, right? They are just the advancement of deep learning. But the good news is, the good news about generative AI is we will be without ML or DL itself, without knowledge of ML or DL, we can understand or we can work with generative AI. How? I'll tell this particular point. That's how this market is currently right now. So I'll tell you basically this point. Okay. How is the market right now regarding this? Okay. So after the rise of generative AI and the agentic AI, in the market there are different types of engineers evolved. Like we call them basically as L1 engineers, right? L2 and L3, right? Perfect. This is like a funnel. You can understand, right? And L1. Cool. So now, where are we actually? Okay. What this course, with the help of this course, where you will be, I will explain that. Okay. And this is how, that is what I was saying, why ML and DL is not required for this particular course. Okay. Now, basically, first, let me explain about L3. So L3 engineers are the one who actually, I'll not call them as engineers. They are actually consumers. Okay. I guess if you are not building AI solutions right now, you are in this stage. You guys are in this stage right now. You are the consumer. Means what you are doing here is the people who consume AI applications, the people who consume AI applications for their day-to-day work, they belong to L3 category. Okay. Like for example, maybe in your work for writing an email, you use ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT. So those people are like L3 kind of thing. Or, maybe you're using Claude to, generate a report or something for you, for your presentation or something. Okay. Or maybe you might use any kind of AI tools. You're using any kind of AI tools to do your tasks. So then you belong to L3. Okay. Maybe you might, right now you are in L3 stage, right? Obviously. Yes or no? I guess in your day-to-day life, you are using a lot of AI tools. Am I correct? Am I correct? Yes or no? Just type in yes in the chat if you are using AI tools in your day-to-day work. Of course, right? But now, with help of this course, you will shift from L3 to L2. That is what this course will provide you. What is L2 is? L2 is someone who actually build AI applications using the models, build AI apps, build AI apps using existing models, existing models. Okay. So now there are a lot of state of art models available in the market, right? Like the GPT models from OpenAI, right? We have Claude models from Anthropic, right? We have, uh, Gemini models from Google. These are basically the closed source models. We also have the open source models like Llama model, LLMs basically, and various models, right? So the L2 people are one who use these models, whatever models we have, existing models, and on top of that, build these AI apps. And whatever AI apps are built by the L2 will be used by the L3 people, right? Getting my point? So you are the one who actually build AI solutions. Like L2 are the one we will be building the AI solutions, AI apps by using the existing models, right? So those people are L2. So this particular course will be helping you to become a L2 engineer, where you using this AI models, using this AI systems and using the AI frameworks, agentic frameworks and generative AI frameworks, you will be able to build the AI apps for the companies. Okay. And now L1 are the people who are core people, actually, I can say, who build models, not just build apps, but actually build these models. Okay. So like when you say build models, like whatever GPT model you're seeing, Claude model you're seeing, Gemini model you're seeing, Llama, these are built by L1. See, L2 people will not build models, will not train the models, right? L2 will not train the models here. L2 will just use the existing models, or either open source or closed source LLMs, and they will try to build the apps on top of that. So, for example, if I want to take an example of L2, the people, for example, if you know, there is a application called as Replit. Okay, Replit. It's a AI based tool through which you can actually build your own website. It's an agentic AI based. Now, if you build this Replit by yourself, okay, imagine you can build Replit. So this Replit is built by an L2 people. So if you complete this course, you can build an application like Replit. Why? Because here Replit doesn't have its own model. If you actually ask, Replit doesn't have its own model. Replit basically uses, uh, you know, the existing models and built on top of that, right? Build this application on top of that. Or maybe there is one more like Lovable. This is also a similar tool, right? This is also one more tool. So these kind of tools are basically built by the L2 people, L2 engineers, okay, where they don't actually build models from scratch, but they use existing models to build AI apps. Okay. Now L2, L1 are people who actually, build models from scratch. But to understand this L1, there you need the concept of deep learning. There you actually need to understand the concept of machine learning. There you have to understand the core mathematics. So you should be a research mindset kind of guy, research oriented guy, where you go deep into mathematics, deep into models, understanding where is this neurons going and what is happening, what is back propagation, all those concepts, all the deep learning, all the optimization concepts. You have to be perfect to become a L1. But now in this course, you can actually be a person who can become L2 to build AI apps. Okay, clear? So that is the reason for this, you can just understand how to use the model. So in this particular course, you'll be able to know how to build AI apps using the existing models. Okay, make sense? Shall we continue? Any other questions? Any questions, guys? Perfect. Okay. Okay. So now that we got the idea of what is generative AI and what actually you'll be becoming soon, if you complete this course. Now let's understand. Sorry, any question? Someone try to unmute, right? Okay. Cool, no issue. So now let's continue and let's try to understand a core concept of generative AI, very, very core concept of generative AI, that is LLMs. Okay, I'll just do a brief introduction about this. However, in our main course, we'll go deep dive into this. What is LLMs basically? LLM is basically stands for large language models. Okay. So what do I mean by this? First thing, if you see that there is a term called as large. Large means very big, right? Huge. Why it is called as huge? Why it is very big? I'll come to that slowly. Language is nothing but our natural language. Okay. Natural language. Like you can say like English, Telugu, Tamil, our natural general speaking language. Okay. The human spoken language. Models. Model means an AI system, right? A trained system. Now, when you say large, what do I mean by this is these models are very, very huge in terms of parameters. So we have basically something called as parameters, which the model will learn with, which it will learn. So if you just remember a few minutes back, I told you that whenever we are building the AI system, the model will learn from the historical data. It will learn from the historical data. When you say it will learn, it will actually learn parameters. Okay. And in this kind of LLM models, we have very, very, very huge parameters. Like when you say very huge, what do I mean by that is in billions of parameters. It will learn billions of numbers basically internally. These parameters are basically numbers, okay, which will be helping us to generate the content. These numbers only will be helping us to generate content. And these numbers or parameters are called as weights and biases. Okay, no need to go deep into that, but just telling the overview. Basically, the numbers are called as weights and biases. So what happens is these models, whenever they are getting trained, because first the L1 people, right, they will train these models and we will be using these models, right? So these particular models learn something called as weights and biases, and that will be in billions. It will be literally in billions. Like for example, if you take the latest GPT models, they are around 700 to 800 billion parameters, right? Which is actually very huge, right? If you take a traditional machine learning or deep learning models, you will maximum having up to millions only, like 1 million, 2 million. That is actually very huge, or maximum 60 million. That's it. So your traditional deep learning or machine learning models will have only 60 million parameters. M, 60 million parameters. But if you see these large language models like ChatGPT or something like that, or GPT-4 or any kind of cloud models, they are in billions. That too, this very huge. That is the reason they are so much accurate. You can see, right? Whatever question you ask, whatever you ask, it will give you so much of, I mean, good performance. That's how this AI got a very huge boom, right? So that is what it meant by large. Language is nothing but, so if you go to GPT or Claude, you're asking in English, right? But you're communicating your own language. That is the reason we call it as language models, like NLP based models. Basically, these are NLP models. So that is the meaning of LLMs. You'll be hearing these terms a lot. What is an LLM is nothing but a large language models. So this GPT model, Claude, all these are LLMs. Okay. GPT, or it could be Claude, or it could be OpenAI, whatever LLM models you're seeing, large language models ultimately. Okay. Now, guys, in the concept of LLMs, we have basically two types of LLMs. Okay. In terms of the way we get these models and in terms of, availability and everything. One is open source models, and second one is closed sourced, right? Open source and closed sourced. Now, what is open source means, as a name says, if the architecture of this model or if this model's file, like basically you'll have something like model file, okay? If that is open sourced into the market, that these are basically open source models. Means using this model, you can download this model into your system and use it directly without paying them, without paying a single penny. You can just download if you have a good infrastructure. Like if you, because for this kind of models, because these are very large, right? This require lot of GPU. This requires lot of GPU, right? So if you have enough GPU, you can actually download this model and use it, right? Enough GPU, you can download this model and use it without paying any money. But if you have to only pay for infrastructure for your GPU, that's it, because you have to buy the GPU and use it. But the problem with this open source is you have to maintain a lot of infrastructure, because loading a 600 billion parameter is not a easy job. It requires a lot of very huge GPU. Okay. Whereas the closed source model, if you take, it is completely API based. API based. Okay, so these models are not open sourced, so you cannot download them and use it. These will be available in their servers. Like for example, if you take GPT models, they are available in OpenAI servers, and the Anthropic models are available in its own servers. Same way with Gemini. So these models are not open source, so you can only use through the API. So the company will provide the API. So we have to pay per use. Like we have to pay per use. Basically, there is something called as tokens, the concept of tokens, which you'll be learning later. What is token and everything. Basically, each character, whatever you send, is each word I can say. Each word is considered as token. I'll talk about that later on. Each whenever you send a text, each word. Sometimes in a word also you can have two tokens. That is different concept, but you have to pay per tokens. Okay, means how much chat you'll be doing, that much tokens you have to pay. Okay, that is the closed source models, closed source models. So in our course, guys, we will explore both open source and closed source. Now, example of open source are llama models by Meta, basically the Facebook llama models, and we have Gemma by Google itself, Pi 3 by Microsoft. We have Mistral, Falcon, like that list goes on. Okay, lot of open source models we have. So if you just go to this website, I'll just go show you. There is some there is a website called as olama.com. This is actually a framework which we'll be learning in our course in order to host and use open source models. So if you just go to the models here, Olama and models, you can see these are the different open source LLMs present, right? And if you actually closely observe here, there is one value here, 24B. 24B means 24 billion parameter model. So this LFM2 is 24 billion parameter model. Qwen 3, it's by Alibaba, Chinese company, right? They have different versions, 8.8 billion, 2 billion, 4 billion, 9 billion, 27 billion, 35 billion. So you can see, you can just go into this and check, right? So like that, there are a lot of open source models available. These are all open source models, right? Which is available in Olama. So we'll be exploring about this. And also there is one more framework and website. Basically, this is an hub actually, Hugging Face. It's an hub where it has again a lot of models in it, right? You can see these are our open source models. So these models basically are the models which we can download in our system. If you're having in a subjected to, you should have enough GPU to load these models. For example, to load a 2 billion parameter model, at least I need a 2 to 4 GB of GPU, right? So you can imagine if I want to load a 128 billion parameter, how much GPU, right? At least you need 124, 125 GB of GPU, right? So that is the cost. That is a huge infrastructure we need for loading this model. However, we will be using some open source tools to open source tools like Google Colab to host this open source models as well. We can load in Google Colab because it will give us 15 GB of GPU. However, yeah, you can see there are a lot of open source models. So these are basically the open source case, right? Whereas closed source models are the models which are through API based and we are not available. But if you want to use that, like example of closed source is the GPT models. It could be GPT-5, GPT 5.2, GPT-4. All these models are basically the open source models. Just a second, guys. Okay, good. Sorry. Also, this GPT, right? Also, we have something like Gemini models or we have Claude models. So, how can you access this or how can you use this through API? So, if you just go to their websites, like if I just go to there, here you can just go for OpenAI, you know, developer console. You can just go to OpenAI developer console, and here you can see they have the API platform, and you can see these are the different models they're offering through API. Now we have GPT 5.4, the latest one, GPT 5 mini, GPT 5.4, like this. These all models are the basically the closed source models which we can not which we cannot download but use it through the API. Okay, and you can see the pricing as well. Here you see if you just go to the pricing, you'll be seeing like how much they are charging, like for the input or the input prompt for 1 million tokens, you can see, right? For 1 million tokens, they are charging $2.5, and for output, they're charging $15. I'll talk about this more deeply in our course, but I'm just giving the overview. In the same way, the Claude, if you just go to the Claude, developer console, you'll also see the Claude APIs, basically. Okay. So let me log in. Okay, leave it. But yeah, you can see the Claude models as well. Um, you can just search for Claude pricing. Yeah. So you'll be able to see the different Claude models. Okay. So these are basically called as the closed source models where we have to pay per token like that. Okay. So we'll be exploring both in our course. Okay. Now, apart from this LLMs, this is the concept of LLMs, which will be the first part of our course. Next is we should also understand how to send input to the LLMs, which is basically technically called as prompt engineering, right? Prompt engineering. Now, what is a concept of prompt engineering is, see, a lot of people will think that using LLMs is easy. Just you just send some input and you'll get an output. Okay, up to some level, it is easy. But when you go deeper and when you're building like AI based apps, because you're the one who will be building this L2, right? You'll be building AI based apps. The way you prompt is very, very important. Prompt engineering has a very important role in the concept of generative AI, where there are different types of prompt engineering techniques. Like it could be few shot learning, you know, one shot learning. We have COT, like chain of thought, few shot, one shot, right? There is role assignment to the LLM. Like role assignment is something where you'll make LLM as a developer. You'll give a role to the LLM to decide to generate the text or to give you whatever you want. COT, like chain of thought. You give us steps and it will follow that steps. Few shot and one shot. So like that, there are a lot of techniques which you have to understand to make LLM work for your task. Okay, that is very important. And also there is one important technique actually in LLMs that is called as RAG. Okay. When you're working with LLMs, RAG is a very, very important concept which you have to learn. That is retrieval augmented generation. Now, why do we need RAG? Okay. I'll just give an overview. However, we'll go deep dive into this once we go into the course. But why do we need RAG? Okay. I'll tell a simple example. Now, these LLMs, whatever we are working with, are trained with specific data, right? Are trained with specific data. But do you think these LLMs can answer any company specific data? Imagine that company information is not available in public, but you're working for that company and you want LLM to answer that company specific questions or work for that company specific things. Can LLM do that? Can LLM do that? Okay, let's see an example. Okay, let's see an example. Okay, let's assume there is a company called as some ABC. Okay, just for understanding sake. Okay, and I want like what we say, this LLM, basically ChatGPT, to answer questions related to the company. Okay. Now, can LLM do that? Obviously, no. Why? Because it was not trained with that knowledge. It doesn't have that knowledge. For example, if I say, uh, can you let me know the total revenue of, for example, let's assume, um, mm, 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 okay, I'll just give a one company name. Maybe I'll just give mm, the ABC company. I'll just give for now. Okay. Let's assume you're working in a company called as ABC company, and you're just asking for this ABC company. Okay. So you can see. Could you clarify what which because it doesn't know. But imagine you have that ABC company document with you. Okay, you have the company document and it has all the information of revenue and everything. But now this LLM is not able to answer. So now that is where the concept of RAG will come into the picture. So RAG is something where we before now imagine this is your question, right? Okay, this is your question and this is your LLM. Okay, so before sending this question to the LLM, you will have something called as external data source. Okay. So that is where this RAG concept will come. I'm just giving the overview of how this works in real time. because this is a very, very, very important concept in terms of working with generative AI. Now, most of the companies need this. Okay, they are working with this. Okay, so they will be having something called as external data source. This is a data source of the company, which is private, which is not being used or not being known to anyone. Okay, so what happens is before you send this question directly to the LLM, what happens in RAG is this question first it is sent to data source. The relevant information is we will be getting the relevant information from the data source. Okay. You'll add along with a prompt along with the data, whatever you got, and send it to the LLM. Now, when you do this, then the LLM will be able to answer the question. Whatever question you have asked, it will be able to answer. That is basically RAG. So implementing this retrieval means relevant, retrieving the relevant information. Okay. So retrieving the relevant information and send it to LLM. So this is what you'll be learning as well, RAG. Okay. So these are the basic concepts of generative AI. Now, apart from generative AI, now in this current era, from the last 1 year, a new technology and you can say new concept came into the picture, which is again trending a lot. That is the agentic AI. Okay. So once we are done with the generative AI, whatever concepts I was telling, we will be deep dive into the concept of agentic AI as well. Now, what is agentic AI? What is agent? First thing, what is agent and what is agentic AI? Okay. See, now, first we'll understand what is the drawback of generative AI. Then we'll understand why we are going for agentic AI. Okay. But before going to that, any questions, anyone? Any questions, any doubts, any small question, big question, anything you can ask. No need to hesitate at all. Any question, any doubts? Are we clear till now? Please confirm in the chat. Just type yes in the chat if you are clear. Or any question you can just put in the chat. Don't worry. Others. Yes, yes. Currently, I also teach LLM, ML and DL as well. Yes, but this course is specifically for the LLM side, this one, but I also teach ML and DL parallelly. I mean, to other people. Perfect. That's a very good question, Arun, regarding how can we secure the data using this RAG. That's a good point. So there are two options here. One is before sending the LLM, whatever data source we're having, we can apply some kind of guardrail or something. We have that concept in our curriculum. We can have apply the guardrail to do some kind of any kind of PII redactation or any kind of sensitive information we can remove. Such that we can only send the wanted information to LLM. But still, if you feel that there is a data privacy issue, that is where the concept of open source models will come into the picture. Because open source models are the models which will be relying in your own servers, which will doesn't need internet access. It will be completely in your private server. Okay. So if you're having very, very high concern with data privacy, and if you're not, don't want to send the data to the external sources, then one option is to use open source LLMs here. Instead of closed sourced, you can use open source LLMs where it will be hosted in your server and use it. Other option is if you want to use state-of-art models and if you want to use closed source LLMs, the companies like OpenAI and Claude, what they are doing is they are giving you enterprise access. Okay. When you say enterprise access, it means that whatever data you're sending to LLMs are secure according to them, according to terms and conditions. They are secure. Means they will give you a separate server and you can use it, but you have to pay a very hefty amount for them. That is one more option. Using enterprise APIs is one options, or using open source LLM is one more option. Apart from this, setting a guardrail. Guardrail means like before sending to LLM, you can whatever data you're sending, you just redact it. Whatever sensitive information, you can redact it such that you can send to LLM. That is one more option. These are the few options you can have to avoid this. Okay, got it. Perfect. Any other questions, guys? Cool. So now let's understand what is the concept of agentic AI. Okay, cool. So now, first thing, we'll understand what is the problem of Gen AI. Okay, what is the issue of Gen AI? Okay. Now we have LLMs. Very good. We have LLMs. Nice. Okay. And given an input, which is basically called as prompt, which is the input, these LLMs are responsible to generate content. We already know about this. To generate content. We already know about this. But can this LLMs perform any tasks for you? Can these LLMs perform any tasks for you? What do I mean by this? For example, imagine you want to send an email, okay? Or you want to book a flight, or you want to plan a trip. Imagine these are the tasks you are having. Okay, these are the tasks. You can see my keywords are different now. I'm using a keyword called as task. Okay. So imagine I'm having this task. Now, can LLM send an email? Can whatever ChatGPT or Claude you're using, can it send an email? No, right? It can only generate, it can only compose the email, correct? For example, I want to send an email to my boss regarding the project report. So if I say, give me an email in a prompt, saying proper prompt that give me an email to the LLM, it can give you a very good, perfect LLM, perfect email. It can draft a good email for you. Okay. It can draft a very good email for you, but it cannot send. Again, you have to copy and paste and you have to send by yourself. Okay. Or for example, if you want to book a flight, or if you want to find a best resource and book a flight, LLM can give you suggestions. Okay, these flights are having less options, less cost. You can book them, but it cannot book for you. Okay. So if you say I want to plan a trip, okay, if you want to plan it, for example, there is something like
ले
plan a trip. It can give you the
ले
saying that. Sorry,
ले
any
जाओ
any any doubts? Okay. So yeah, if you want to plan a trip, it can give you a good curriculum. Oh, sorry, it can give you a good itinerary that okay, this is the trip you can plan, but it cannot book hotels for you. It cannot book flights for you, right? Again, you have to book by yourself. Or I mean, I'm just giving some basic generic examples, but you can just understand the more specific tasks in the company. Like for example, you know, which we are, I can say one example which I'm working in my current company, like automating of candidate onboarding, right? So, for example, whenever a candidate joins, onboarding them, right? This is a system, this is an automation system. Now, there is a lot of manual work there. So that is where the concept of agentic system come into the picture. Now, what is an agent? I'll tell you now. You understood my point, right? LLM is good at generating things, but it cannot perform tasks. Means LLMs cannot do tasks. So I will give you a good analogy for this. Okay. I'll give a good analogy for this. Now you have your brain, right? Your brain. Now, can your brain cook food for you? Only brain. Only brain. With only help of brain, can you cook the food? No, right? Brain is something which will be helping us to tell what is the recipe for the food. But you need your hands. You need some utensils. You need some tools. Like, for example, you need stove. You need your ants, both ants. Without ants also you cannot cook, right? Without ants. So this both ants, whatever you're having is your tools. You need a stove, you need a vessel, you need some ingredients. Then you can, for example, if I want to cook biryani for today, so I need obviously rice, I need obviously a few masalas, I need few more ingredients, right? Along with vessel and these are like tools which my brain will use, right? My brain will use to cook something. In the same way, you can consider LLM as a brain. LLM is good at taking decisions. I mean, deciding something. LLM is good at deciding something, but it cannot do actions. It cannot work in real world, right? LLMs cannot work in real world. They can only generate content. So that is where the concept of agentic AI came into the picture. Now, what is an agent is, if I talk about agent, to this agent, You will provide this LLM as a brain. This LLM will be as a brain. Okay. This LLM will be act as a brain. And to this agent, you'll not just give the prompt. Okay. You'll not just give the prompt like what to do in ChatGPT or anywhere. You will actually give a task to this agent. You'll actually give a task. Okay. And what is the job of this agent is it should use this LLM as a brain. Along with the LLM, you'll also give something called as tools, all the tools you require. Okay. And also you will give something called as memory to remember what happened in the past. And this agent will be built with some kind of frameworks. Like there is a framework like React framework, plan and act framework, some kind of frameworks. Like React framework means reasoning and action, plan and action, something like that. Okay. Plan and action. So that kind of frameworks it will use internally. And what it does is it will be having a looping mechanism. So what it does is once the agent receives the tasks, what this agent will do is it will use the LLM to decide what to be done. And then it will use these tools to do the action itself. It will perform the action itself. It will perform the action. And the result of this agent is not the content right now. It is the result of the action. Like, for example, I'll tell an example. Imagine you built an agent to send emails for you. Okay. So you'll say, send an email to my boss for this report. Okay. Send an email to this boss for for some report. I'm just laying a simple example. What this agent will do, this agent will basically uh, call the LLM first. It will try to understand, okay, what email should do. This LLM will compose the email. It will compose the email. Then it will decide, okay, everything is fine in this email or not, and everything. And also it has memory, so it can store what happened in the past and everything. Like how do we have memory? And then once the LLM has this, then this agent will use this tool. Let's assume you're having a tool called as send email. Okay. Imagine you're having a tool called as send email. Send email is, again, this tool is nothing but a function only, a Python function. Okay, a simple Python function. So it will use send email tool and it will automatically send email to the boss. So here you don't do anything. It is automatically composing email and sending email. I'm just telling a simple example, but we can build complex examples as well. This is basically the agentic AI. So agentic AI is not just generating content or composing something. Your generative AI is nothing but very deep. It focuses on you know uh, doing things, performing actions, doing actions. Right, that is the main goal of the agentic AI concept. Okay, and here I'm talking about single agent, but you can also build multiple agent as well, like multi-agent framework. Means one agent communicating with other agents. So one agent will have one LLM. Let's assume some kind of tools. I'll show an example also. Another agent with different types of tools and other LLM. Okay, they both communicate with each other to perform a task. Maybe you can assume like in software industry, we have a developer and a tester, right? So maybe this agent, first agent could be a developer tool who has the developer tools like writing code and everything. And one more agent could be a tester agent, which will use the testing tools to test it. So like that, we can build a multi-agent system as well using this agentic AI. So not like single agent, just multi-agent system. Okay. So that is how the agentic AI is different from generative AI. So in agentic AI, we build agents using the LLM as a brain. Your LLM is just acting like a brain to decide. So this basically this LLM will decide which tool to use, because now when you're cooking something also, your brain will decide, right, which ingredient to use, when, right? In the same way, your LLM will decide things, but the agent will, using the LLM decision, it will perform the action. That is what the agentic AI system we can use. Okay. Yes, yes. Supervisor with multiple agents is also the concept of multi-agent system. Yes, multi-agent system. Correct. Yeah. So this is how the concept of agentic AI is there. I'll show a demo also, small demo. But before the demo, any questions? Anyone having any questions? Any doubts? Shall we proceed? Others? Okay,
I have one question, Abhishek.
please.
So these agents will get changed always, or like is it depend on the tool, it will behave.
Change always in the sense, what exactly you meant by that?
For example, if you are using
Mm-hmm.
one agent, okay, right now, so
Mm-hmm.
after few months, if it is get upgraded or something, it can happen, or
So yeah, I mean, you mean by LLM upgrade or tool upgrade?
for example, you take any agent, right? For example,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it is sending a communication over the emails. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if any new features or something is getting added, okay, so is possible to change that agent.
Yeah, of course, right? It's plug and
Adding.
play.
Oh,
So if you want to add a new feature, obviously either you can change the LLMs to latest LLM, just a plug and play, or you can add extra tools here. That's it. If you want to add some latest features, you can add one extra tool here always, depending upon whichever features you want to integrate.
okay, it will take directly that LLM input or how?
It will take the tools, it knows which tools are there, and accordingly it will try to LLM will try to decide which tools to use. So if you add new tools also, the LLM can automatically get that information. That is not a problem. It is not like we have to build the entire system from scratch again. Just adding a tool is just I mean maybe our job. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So now let me show a small dip. Before that, anyone having any other questions? Anyone having any other questions? Shall we proceed? Okay, cool. Okay, now let me show a small demo. So I'll be showing two demos here now. One is basically the research agent, okay, using Google ADK, and also presentations generator agent using the LangGraph framework, okay, which we will be building in the course, which we'll be using in our course. But I'm just showing you how what you will be doing in this particular course, okay. First, let me show the output, how it looks. Okay. Let me open the code and also the output as well. Okay. So if you see, guys, the advantage of using this is a Google ADK one. Basically, I'm working with something called as a research generator agent. So the advantage of Google ADK is it's a framework actually. It's by Google, and ADK stands for Agent Development Kit. Okay, where you can build agents using this one, using Python framework and Python Google ADK framework. Okay, I'll show the code also. I'll just show the glance of this code. So what happens here is using this, you can actually build agentic systems very easily. Okay, so let me show you here. What happens is, let me start. And also the good thing about Google ADK is they also provide their inbuilt UI where you can test the agent. Okay, this is for debugging purpose. You can use this agent. So I'll just say hi. So I'll just tell you what actually we have built here. Okay, here we built a researcher agent. So you can see, I'll just show you. Yeah, you can see, right, this graph. Let me, yes, yeah, you can see, right, this is the agentic system which we have built right now, where we have a coordinator which will be helping us to do some, I mean, communicate with the user. And we have multiple agents here. One is the research agent, second one is the validator agent, and third one is the report generator agent. Okay. So these three agents we have. And if you see, these are the tools for these agents, right? So the research agent, so the basically the idea of this entire system is it has to it has to actually, do a research on any topic. So given a topic, it has to do a research on any topic, like it could be any topic. Now, how it will be doing research? It will use web search. internet search. It will do Wikipedia search. It will also search in archive for any kind of research papers. And basically, it will also um, use context 7 tools. Basically, context 7 is for the code. Okay. So these are the different tools we provided. And also current time. Basically, current time is to know, okay, what is your current date and time, because LLMs will not have the access for the date. In the same way, we also have validator agent, which will basically responsible for the validating the research, whether it is enough or not. And then we have a report generator agent. The goal of report generator agent is to get the whatever research the research agent has built, has done, that it will basically generate a PDF report for that. That is a PDF tool. Okay. So that is the main goal of this agentic system. Now let me show you how it works. So I just said hi here. Okay. It says, you can say, hello, I'm a research workflow coordinator. I manage a team of specialized agents. So you can assume like supervisor agent. This is like a supervisor agent where it has a this one. So it will gather information and do that. So I'll just say, okay, can you do a uh, research and see research and give me a report on maybe I'll say um, prompt engineering, something like that. You can give any topic. Okay. So see what happens here. Okay. So it will transfer to the agent. You can see the research coordinator is transferring to the research agent. Okay. So the research agent will do the comprehensive analysis. You can see I'll conduct a comprehensive research on the prompt engineering for you. Let me gather the information from the multiple sources. Now, what it is doing, you can see it is going to web search, right? And it is getting the web search information, right? It is calling the web search tool. It is calling the Wikipedia search. It is calling the archive search, right? It is calling all these tools, and you can see the results as well. You can see web search. You can see we got some results. Wikipedia search, right? You can see these are the results we got from the these web search, Wikipedia search, and archive search, right? So it is also gathering more. So you can see the agent, right? It is not just satisfied. It is not yet satisfied. It is going more deeper. It is saying, let me gather more information about. Again, it is calling with a different query, right? So you can see it gathered a lot of information from the different tools and it got the finding. Excellent. I've gathered all the information. You can see all the information. You can see zero shot prompting, few shot prompting, chain of thought prompting, over other advanced prompting, best practices, everything. It got all the information, entire information, everything. Now the research is ready for validation purpose. So I'll just say proceed. So we can just verify and we can proceed. So once we say proceed, you can see the validator will come now. Now it is transferred to the validator. You can see it is transferred to the validator agent. Ideally, we can also do this automated, but now I didn't it automated. I want to verify first and then proceed to validator. That is the reason it is not automated. But eventually what happens is the research agent only can automatically send to validator. Okay. So now you can see it got the validation assessment. You can see all the assessment, validation approved, ready for report generation. Okay. So I'll say, okay, looks good, proceed, right? So you can also read this and see, okay, whether the validation was enough or not. Now, when I say, okay, looks good and proceed, now you can see it is sending to report generator agent. Basically, now you can see it went to report generator agent. Can you see this, right? Report generator agent is using the get current time because it will just put the time in the PDF to create a professional PDF. And also it will use the PDF report generator tool. Okay. So I'll just show the examples also. You can see first it went to the research agent. So research agent, what it does, if you see here, you can also see this properly. Okay, you can see research agent is using web search, Wikipedia search, and archive search as a tools, right, to get that information, right? Then it went to the validator agent automatically. I mean, not automatically, we said proceed, but we can also do it automatically. Okay, then it will send to the validator agent. Then further, it will go to the PDF generator agent. Now, PDF generator is actually working in the background. it is generating the PDF for us. So this is how the multi-agent framework will work. Now, very soon we can expect a PDF report on the topic, this one. Like this, you can actually work on any topic because now it has the web search and also the Wikipedia search and archive search. It can actually, search on various topics and actually give you the proper PDF report. And eventually you can see a PDF report soon. Yes. So you can see, guys, it has called the PDF report generator tool, right? It has called the PDF report generator tool. And finally, it is done and it is saved. Okay. So now you can see it is saying that your PDF report are generated and saved in the prompt engineering research PDF.pdf. This report includes all this information, it says. Now in my local folder, I'll find this, folder and show you. Let me go to the project and let me find that file. Okay. Mm, yeah. So you can see, guys, you can see there is a file called as prompt engineering research PDF. If I just open this, let me open this. You can see, guys, how the report is now completely on the prompt engineering. You can see within few minutes, it has created me a report on this, right? A PDF report on this, complete. You can see lots of information, right? So it is also including the date and everything, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, you can see March 7th because just now I did it. Okay. So maybe now I'll say a new session. Okay. And I'll ask, or maybe let me ask to generate a report on, any kind of current affairs. Okay. Because we have to test this web search tool, right? Okay. So I'll just say, can you, you know, give me a report on latest. Okay. Maybe I'll say, because the latest is all about Iran and Israel war, right? Maybe I'll say report on Iran and Israel um, war, something like that. Okay. So it is going again, transferring to the agent. So like this, basically, ultimately, it will work in the background. So now you can see, uh, like it is trying to do the web search and it is trying to do the, all the Wikipedia search. So let it do. But ultimately, we should expect a report soon. Okay. Cool. So this is one example, guys, of how exactly you can also see it is actually getting the current time because we're asking about latest, right? So it is getting the current time. It is knowing, okay, today is 7. So accordingly, we will try to search for that. So it is trying to search for that. And, it is trying to get the result. So let's wait for the result. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll show one more example use case also. So this, before that, I'll show the code for this. The code is actually not very complex. You can, I mean, if you understand how agentic framework works, you can do that. So this is through Google ADK, I told you, right? So you can see this is a main agent file. Okay. So you can see here we are using Google ADK's libraries, basically the Google agent, Google ADK agent, and you can see all the tools which I was talking about is imported here. Now, tool is nothing but a function itself. For example, when you say web search, in this web search, we are basically using the search API, okay, internally. Then we are having PDF generator tool. Basically, what it does is it takes the text and it takes the file name and it will create a proper PDF for us using the PDF library, right? That is what this PDF generator tool is, right? Next, we have, get current time. Like that, we are having some kind of tools. Next, I told you, right, different agents. So we have research agent. We have the proper instruction to this agent and the tools. You can see proper instructions and the tools. Then we have the validator agent, proper instructions, and report generator agent, proper instructions and the tools. Then finally the supervisor agent, which is having the sub agents like research generator, validator, and report generator agent. So like that, we are having multiple agents and all the tools in this. Okay. So like this, your code will be, this is how you'll be basically working with, different framework. This is Google ADK framework. Okay. So any questions in this?
So this framework will create any website or where it's a Google.
So, okay, now coming to how do we run this is, if you already have this framework along with this library, in your terminal, I'll show the way you can run this as well. Okay. So in your terminal, this is the terminal actually, but okay, what you should do is you should run a command actually. I'll show you. That is ADK web this one. So this is the this is the inbuilt UI. Whatever UI you are having, right? This particular UI is provided by the Google ADK itself. So you can just do ADK web port. You can give a port. It will automatically host a local server in your system. And this is only for debugging purpose. In a real-time scenario, you don't use this ADK web. This is only for the experimenting purpose and debugging purpose. So you can just do ADK web and give a port, and it will start the server. Okay, yeah. So you can see the what the researcher agent has done. So you can see it has got the entire information about previous history as well, like what happened in June, then the latest escalation, all things happens, everything. So the validator also said it actually not approved because uh, actually it is assuming that validator is not like that. I'll say proceed with the report generation for now. Basically, validator is assuming that. So here we have to fix this. So it says not approved because it is assuming that maybe these are future events, but we have to actually give the tool for this validator agent as well. That is the get current time. That is one small enhancement we can do. But yes, it is generating. Yeah, it is giving some options also, like what should be the report about. It will now you can see it is trying to give the PDF report for us. So like this is our example agent, like how exactly it works. Okay, so I hope you got the clarity of what is happening here. And one more example also I'll show you, which you'll be building as part of this course. That is AI powered presentation generator. This is using LangGraph based architecture. Okay, so where you give a topic and it will give a PPT for you. Okay, and also the good thing about this is if you give the email ID, it will send that PPT to the email. Okay, for example, if I say, uh, give me a, or, okay, give me a PPT on maybe, I'll say Agentic AI. And if I say generate presentation, so here, here I'm using LangGraph, guys. You can see here also it is supervised based architecture. So it is using LangGraph in the backend. I'll also show the code to you. Um, Yeah. So this is the presentation agent code. It's loading. Let me do one thing. Cursor is taking time, so I'll try to open with VS Code. Okay. Okay. So you can see this is the the code for that. Basically, it has. I mean, this code is slightly huge. Basically, it has a lot of things in the backend. So this particular agent will try to build PPTs, try to create PPTs, and it also can scrape the images from online. So you can see we are using LangGraph based one. So it will try to search for the presentation image also. It has that kind of tools as well. It will download the multiple images from online for integrating into the PPT. It can also, it has the email tools to send the emails, So soon you can see after creating of PPT, it will send me the email because I've used my mail here. So it will send me the email as well. So it is creating the presentation soon. So what I'm showing, yeah, the code, right? Yeah, and also it has the PPT tools for creating the project folder, creating the for checking the PPTX installation, validating the PPT code, save the code to the file. So basically, it will generate a PPT code to save it, execute PPT code, all these things. It has tools. There are different tools, and this is the agent. You can see I'm using the this agent where we are using planner agent, which plans what to be done. Then a PPT code generator agent, validator agent, PPT executor agent, email sender agent. So all these agents we have. You can see the supervisor framework of land graph we are using. This is a land graph framework for agentic, this one presentation generator. Okay. And basically it is working in the backend because it is doing a lot of research in the backend. So it is also having a lot of tools, research tools. So it is using that tools to finally generate the agent. So let's wait. So you can see it is downloading the images, 5 images downloaded, found one image, right? So you can see guys, it has actually created the code for generating the PPT. Slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, 5. You can see all the slides it has created. So you can see this is how the agentic things work. It is also saving those PDF like PPT in this particular file, agentic AI presentation.pptx. So soon we can expect a PPT. Yeah, you can see it is validating. It is validating and it is executing this code. Okay. Now it is trying to check everything is there or not, and it will try to generate a PPT and also send a mail to me. Okay. Soon I will get a mail. So this is how the agentic system works, guys. Okay. So let it do. It will take some time. Meanwhile, I'll also just go through the syllabus of this course, which you can expect as part of this course. Okay. So if you see, as you know, for this particular course, you need a basic Python knowledge. Okay, because we'll be working completely with Python for building this kind of systems. Okay. So now, once you have this, once into the course, you'll be having small introduction to generative AI, and then we'll be working with LLMs uh, on various types of LLMs like GPT, Claude, and Gemini models. Understand how it works. We will set up the environment. We will start with a framework called as LangChain, which is very important and very famous framework for working with the LLMs. Then we'll try to integrate all this OpenAI, Anthropic, and Gemini into the LLMs. Okay. Then we'll be working with prompt engineering. We'll be understanding how to work with prompts and different prompt templates, few shot learning, one shot, chain of thought, everything. We'll talk about LLM parameters and all those things here. Okay, different types of LLM parameters and how to work with them. We'll also work with output parsers, different output parsers for the LLMs. Then we'll also work with something called as a RAG, a retrieval-augmented generation, which I already told you. So this is we'll start from basics. We'll understand what is embeddings, what are vector databases, different types of indexing mechanisms like HNSF based, IVF based indexing mechanism, HNSW indexing mechanism, and all those things. We'll also work with chunking, text processing, uh, different types of retrievers, vector stores, and advanced RAG techniques like re-ranking and everything. So all these types of RAG will be implementing. So here we'll be implementing a use case. Then after RAG, we'll talk about memory, how to work with LangChain memory, how to deal with memories in LangChain. That is what we'll be working with, where it will be helping for us to maintain the model memory because model LLMs are not tend to remember, right? So we have to maintain memory. So we'll be talking about different types of memory, right? Then we'll also talk about tool calling. So this is very important part here where the agentic AI will start. So we'll understand what is tool calling, how to work with tool calling, how to attach tool calling with LLMs, which I just showed through this, through the demo. Then we'll start with very first framework, agentic AI framework, that is LangGraph. So this presentation generator, which I was showing, right? This basically, okay, generators will fail. Okay, we'll see that why it is failing. But I got a mail. I guess something got breaked in middle. That's okay. But I'll show the PPT also. I'll show the mail also. But let us come back to this. Yeah. So we'll be working with LangGraph framework, and I'll show you how to work with LangGraph, different concepts of LangGraph, state graph management, and everything. Basic workflows, advanced LangGraph patterns as well, multi-agent system with LangGraph. Then we'll also work with agentic AI systems, like what is React agent, different agent frameworks, multi-agent, sequential agent, advanced agent patterns, and everything. So just now we have seen, right, Google ADK code. So we'll be exploring about Google ADK as well, how to work with Google ADK loop agent, different types of multi-agent using Google ADK. Then there is also one more framework called as Crew AI. So we'll just do a overview on Crew AI as well. Crew AI, how Crew AI works. Then the last one, once these are done, so you'll be good at working with agents and LLMs. Now it's time for testing the LLMs. It's time for evaluating the LLMs, where we'll be focusing on agentic and LLM based RAG evaluation frameworks like RAGAs, talking about different LLM frameworks, tool evaluation, agentic evaluation, all this evaluation frameworks we'll be focusing on. And also we'll be working with observability tools like LangSmith. Okay. And also at the last, we'll also explore about security because that is very important. Just now, Arun asked, right? Like, how do you secure the inputs to LLM without doing that? So some kind of PI redactation, output filtering, input validation. So basically understanding about guardrails, we'll talk about that. And also we'll talk about MCP. So when you're working with tools only, we'll talk about MCP framework. And then see, till now we worked with open closed source as well. In the middle only, I'll also introduce the open source LLMs as well, how to work with open source LLMs as well, Olama and everything. And few extra sessions like, on deployment and how to work with deployment and everything. So this is the one thing. And then we'll also work with the like closed source, sorry, we'll also work with like no code tools, no code tool like NA10. I'll just introduce you the NA10 tool. Okay. And we'll be working on few projects. Just now I showed you, right? Research agent, customer service agent. These are the projects which we'll be working on. Document Q&A agent, presentation generator agent. So these are the few projects we'll be working on. So these are the, a different comprehensive, course syllabus, what we'll be learning in this entire part of the course. Okay. So now let me go back and debug what happened. Issue actually, you can see it has generated the PPT. So let me go and check the PPT. PPT should be there mostly. I guess some small issue somewhere in the UI, but you can see there is a PPT there already. So let me go and find the PPT once, whatever PPT that's generated. And if you see, I got a mail. I'll also show the mail as well. You can see, guys, this is the mail which I got a few minutes ago. This is the mail which I got, but PPT is not there. So there might be some issue in that, but I can see PPT is generated. We'll see. But meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can put in the chat, guys. We'll discuss. Okay, let's close then for today. Let's continue in the next session. Thank you, guys.
Sure.